Yes, when I was a child, I didn't. Yeah, I did get bullied early on at school, but had my head in a book for for effectively 5 or 6 years. I didn't really have a strong social life or a big group of friends. Common interest that I did have with a small group of people who were great fans of Doctor Who, and so with a very good friend of mine from school, also called Peter, but straight. So I mean, because we were going round together, they all accused us of that kind of thing. But it turned out not to be true, of course. But yeah, we became some minor celebrities on the Doctor Who scene, and I later went on to be part of the executive committee of the fan club. And it turned out when I came down to London that a couple of my close friends in this little group of people were actually gay, and I thought, oh, maybe that's what it is, because I couldn't quite work out what was wrong. I mean, I knew that I wasn't going to be a 9 to 5, 2.4 children sort of kind of bloke, but yeah, it turned out that three out of the sort of 6 of us turned out to be gay, and one of those guys became my first boyfriend, and that's the one that lasted for 6 years, the first time round. But yes, coming down to London, I think sort of opened my eyes a bit. The coming out process for my friends was all happening around about the same time. I suppose that's what gave me the strength to come out to my parents, who were both strong Catholics. So, I mean, God bless her, my mum said, well, we'll find the name of a priest to go and see, for you to see. And I thought, okay, I'll do that just to, to make them happy. And he turned out to be a screaming queen. So he said, do you want me to talk to your parents? I said, no, it's all right, Father. I don't think they'd be particularly relieved by that. So I think the best way I could put it was they didn't really understand, but they accepted. And it wasn't really talked about. And unfortunately, the parts of my gay life that they only saw was the breakup relationship, and they attributed a lot of that down to the failure of my second relationship. That's looking back on it, I think that was a bit harsh. But yeah, that was sort of the coming out bit, and it was a great time. I think the 80s was probably, so yes, the late 80s, early 90s, probably the best time of my life. So I was in London, but not in the East End. The East End was a different chapter. I mean, it started very bleakly with the job failing and stuff, but kind of came out of the depression, made some new friends effectively, sort of started over, and that's where I am today, really. I've had since Gino, my last true love, I've had a couple of small affairs, but nothing that's been substantial. Oh, there was one. Here's a cautionary tale for anyone who's listening. I did go out with someone who's a very nice chap, or so it started, and I was still quite fragile, shall we say, at that point. But we seemed to be getting on quite well. And then I couldn't quite put my finger on it, but it started to derail a bit. And we went on holiday to Ibiza, which was very nice. I was having money problems at the time. And so this guy said, oh, well, it's all right, I'll pay for the holiday and we can settle up at another point when you've got the money. On holiday, he effectively dumped to me. So I took the next flight home, and he remained there, which I thought was odd at the time. So I thought, right, well, that's it. I had the keys for his place, just removed my stuff, and that was it. And then he called me a couple of weeks after he got back and said, where's my half of the holiday money? And I said, you've got to be joking. And he promptly served me a county court summons. And it did go to court, and because he, shall we say, was economical with the truth, and I was completely truthful, the judgment went in his favour. So beware, boys and girls. But that was one of the rich tapestry of experiences I've had. Some of them have been quite fun. I feel quite settled in East London. I wouldn't like to live anywhere else, because I think all of my friends, some of whom I've known for, goodness me, up to 10 years, like my current landlord, was a boyfriend of a partner I had just after me, if that makes sense. And the guy in question, John, was petrified that the two of us would meet. And of course, because Steve, my landlord, lives locally, we did meet in the Royal Oak, I think it was, and we got on like a house on fire. So that was quite funny. And then, 8 years down the line, he has had an extra flat that he was doing up and letting out, and he let it to me, which I'm very grateful for. Thank you, Steve. And so, yeah, I'm very settled here. I mean, unfortunately, I'm between jobs at the moment, but I've got a home and good friends, and I don't think you can ask for more than that.